You know, I'm a big fan of Team Rocket. They hired exactly one person to guard the most important building to their operation. Anyways, welcome back to my FireRed Omega Nuzlocke, and in this episode, it is finally time. We will be tackling Silph Co, the biggest gauntlet of trainers in this game. And, you know, I am really glad that the running shoes are enabled in this building, because this is a huge one. And traditionally what I always do is I go straight to the 5th floor to get the card key to open all the doors. Because, yeah, and then once I have that... Oh, I guess we can do one fight, huh? But yeah, once I have the card key, I would just go back all the way to the bottom and fight everyone and open all the doors and stuff. Because, in my opinion, that is the most efficient way of doing things. And looking at the levels here, I seem to be sitting quite comfortable. So, I can basically play Silph Co while on autopilot. Which is good. I like being on autopilot. Same as Azteca, who just grew a level. But yeah, as I said in the last episode, I needed to prepare a bit for this one. Because there's so many empty trainers. There is a lot of empty air to fill. And for that, I came up with a topic, which is all the various gigs or concerts I've been to this year. There is 9 concerts in total I've seen at the moment, so it's quite the list, and I'll be doing quite a bit of talking about them. So let me get right to them. Before that though, let me change up my team. Because Azteca has reached level 48, and I just want the experience to be divided evenly. But yeah, so the gigs. The first one I've seen was the Stereophonics, which are like a British indie rock band. Or not indie, but I guess rock. And I saw them on a Friday, and it was the 16th of March, so exactly the day before St. Patrick's Day, which was a great time for a gig. And because of that, the crowd also seemed to be decently into it. So we were having a good time there. And I've already seen them 2 or 3 years ago with a couple mates, and we actually managed to get the same crew together again. So we were the same 4 people that saw them the last time. That was really cool. I'm glad we managed to do that. And also, it was really the gig that never ended, because they played for ages. There were so many moments where we thought, oh, this has to be the last song. Surely this is the last song. Oh, they're gonna play one more and then that's it. And it just kept going on and on and on like that. And in the end, they played for, I think, 2.5 hours. Played about 25 songs. So, towards the end, it dragged a little bit. Because they also played a couple songs I actually didn't know. But still, we had a good time. I had a good time. It was a nice gig. Then, a few weeks after that, I saw Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds, and I believe I've talked about that in an earlier episode, when I was talking about my holidays in Brussels. Yeah, so that gig I saw on holidays, as I just mentioned, and I only found out by coincidence that he was playing there. So, what happened was, I took a walk around town, and I took a turn that I didn't have to take. And I was just looking around, saw at a wall a few concerts for posters. And so I'm thinking, well, I like concerts, might as well check out what is going on here. And so I looked, Noel Gallagher's High Flying Birds. Interesting. Tickets €40. Not bad, that's kinda cheap. 6th of April 2018. Holy crap, that is tomorrow! Or something like that, that was kind of my reaction. And it was a bit fanboyish, but yeah, they're one of my favorite artists at the moment, so I had all the reason to act like a fanboy. Yeah, so I'm really a big fan of his current stuff, but also a fan of his old Oasis stuff. Like, it was really great hearing a few of the classics live, like Wonderwall, Don't Look Back in Anger, Little by Little, stuff like that. So I was having a great time. Unlike the crowd, to be honest. Most of the people there weren't really into it, and I don't understand why. Because I'd imagine, like, Oasis were known worldwide. There's no denying that. So Noel Gallagher should be a big deal. No ifs, buts, and ands about it. So that was kind of a shame that the crowd didn't really get into it that much. And there were even one or two hecklers that... Wait, who are you? What are you? Oh, you give me Thunder Wave. Thunder Wave is a good move. Sorry, just kind of interrupting my train of thought. Azteca can learn it, but Azteca already has Confuse Ray. I'm gonna keep my current moveset, so I might go back to this person. But yeah, as I was saying, there unfortunately were even one or two hecklers who kept going, Liam, Liam. So, Liam is Noel's brother and former singer of Oasis, and they're not really on good terms anymore, if I understand correctly. So, they were trying to heckle Noel, but thankfully he wasn't having any of it. He completely ignored those people, which was really good. So yeah, that was that. And so before the gig, I was really surprised, because in front of the building were armed officers, like policemen armed with machine guns, and police dogs. So I've never seen that before at a concert venue. But then again, Brussels does have a history with terror attacks, so really it was to be expected. But yeah, I enjoyed it, that was good. Then the third gig was around a month after, and it was Noel Gallagher, again! Yeah, this time at home though. And I've had the tickets ever since they were released, like months back, because I knew from the beginning that I wanted to see him. But yeah, this time, that time it was even a slightly different setlist, which was really cool. I believe he had 2 setlists during the tour. So it was nice hearing basically every song he played live during that tour. And during one of his songs, I believe it was Don't Look Back in Anger, it was even raining gigantic balloons from the ceiling in the colors of the national flag, which was a great visual. And because he's my favorite artist at the moment, I would say, at least of the current ones, I was really glad that I managed to snag a first row spot. And that's the advantage of going to concerts alone. Because, for whatever reason, my friends never want to be in the front. They prefer watching the concerts from kind of the back. So, I don't get that. Because if you're going to a concert, you want to, in my opinion at least, I always want to get close to the artist. But, yeah, I don't know. Different people have different preferences, I suppose. Then, the next gig, the fourth one of the list, was Ed Sheeran, which I know doesn't really add up with the genres of the previous bands, but yeah, whatever. I'm not a huge fan of his music, like I wouldn't sit down and listen to an album front to back, but he has a few songs that I like, and I mainly wanted to see him anyway to be able to say, I've seen Ed Sheeran live, what about you? Kinda like that. And yeah, I just wanted to see the atmosphere, how the people are like, whatever. And I have to say, I didn't feel like I belong at all. Because I was surrounded by, 90,000 people, I would say? And most of them were teenagers, and maybe their parents. So, yeah, me as an adult, I didn't really feel like I belonged. And also, while Ed Sheeran's setlist was great, he played pretty much all the songs that I like. Well, his main support act was called Anne-Marie, and I didn't like her at all. So Anne-Marie was a generic pop singer who did like generic contemporary pop. Like, that's really all there is to it. But one song cracked me up, and still does. I don't know what it was called, but in the chorus she went like, "Ciao, adios, I'm done." But it didn't sound like that live. It actually sounded like, "Shower your horse, I'm done." Like, that always cracked me up. And fun fact, when I went for holidays to Liverpool a few weeks ago, I went to a store and they had some music playing, obviously. And one of the songs they played was exactly that. So in the chorus, I'm like, wait, I recognize this song. And then there's the line, "Shower your horse, I'm done." Oh, it's this song, I thought. And I almost cracked up laughing. And people were looking at me weird too. But yeah, that was fun. And then, exactly one day after that gig, it was probably the biggest gig this year I've been to. Not necessarily the best, but the biggest. I saw the Rolling Stones, rock legends. And again, kind of similar to Ed Sheeran, I'm not that big of a fan of their music, and I just wanted to see them to be able to say, hey, I've seen the Rolling Stones live. But yeah, before I go on, let me talk to this trainer, because I think... no, he's not. Okay. Never mind, that's something I want to get into later. But yeah, so Rolling Stones, it was an incredible show. These guys are 70, and looking at their gig, you wouldn't believe it at all. They were moving around like crazy, they're still kicking it, and they still play the songs like they used to back in their heyday. The only thing that they played differently was Painted Black. They played it a bit slower than it usually goes, but even then, it didn't take away from the show at all. However, getting the tickets to the show was quite the odyssey, because I kind of signed up for pre-release tickets. Like, the main tickets were released on a Friday, but the pre-release was on a Thursday, and I signed up for that. And the morning they released, it was like 9 AM, I logged onto the website on my computer at work. I refreshed the webpage like crazy, but I never got access to the tickets for some reason. Like, I only got the generic error message saying, oh, those tickets haven't been released yet, check back at a later time. Stuff like that. And I'm just thinking there, is this a lie? Do those tickets exist? Did the trainees sleep and didn't hit the release button on time? Like, stop, I was confused. But I checked with a few colleagues who also signed up for that, and they got the tickets no problem. So I don't know what was going on. But yeah, so during lunchtime that day, I took a walk. Like a walk around town, that's what I always do during lunch. And I don't know why, but something compelled me to check the mobile website of the ticketing page. And so, like, 1 PM, hours after the tickets were released, I just, on a whim, checked the mobile website. And I didn't expect to get the tickets because, well, Rolling Stones are a big deal. I'm sure everything would be sold out already. But, lo and behold, I logged onto the page, got my ticket immediately, and it was even the category I was looking for, standing ticket, not right at the front. So, that was really, really awesome. And the best thing about it is, it was actually one of those plastic laminated tickets, kind of in a credit card format. So I even got a nice memory and souvenir out of it. I'm actually looking at the ticket right now, it's right across my room. So, yeah, that'll be quite the memory. And at the end of the concert, they played, what's it called? I Can't Get No Satisfaction. And they even had a big fireworks show at the end. So that was really, really cool. And so yeah, Rolling Stones. As I said, didn't expect much because I don't like the music that much. But after seeing them, yeah, great, great gig. And if you ever get the chance to see them, do it. For the love of God, go there. And also, these last 3 gigs I told you about, Noel Gallagher, Ed Sheeran, and Rolling Stones, all happened within 1 single week. So you can imagine I needed a bit of special motivation to go to work those days. Yeah, I was really, really beat up and tired after that week. But I survived. And I went to more gigs after. So around 2 weeks after the Stones, I saw 30 Seconds to Mars. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a big fan of them anymore. I used to be into them more when I was a teenager, or like an early adult, a young adult, whatever you want to call it. But they've changed their music style. Like, they used to be an emo band, but nowadays they kind of play modern pop, and they're not a rock band at all anymore. But I went there for nostalgia reasons. Like, I have big nostalgia for this band because I have great memories connected with their music. And so that's why I decided, yeah, why not? I want to go there, I want to see them once more. Because I've already seen them like 5 years ago. It was alright. But the gig itself, unfortunately, was kind of boring, I have to say. Like, the band played mainly their newer stuff, which I didn't like, because I'm not a fan of the new stuff, as I said. And they only played one of their old songs, which was The Kill. Well, at least they played their biggest song properly this time. Because last time I've seen them, they only played an acoustic version of it, and also only half of the song, which was really disappointing. But yeah, this time they played the full song, so that was great. The crowd, while for the most part of the gig they weren't into it much, for this song they were going crazy. This is what they came for, this is what they wanted to hear. But they only got to hear so little of it, just this one song. And also what I didn't like was the band, like the drummer and the guitarist, were just shoved off to the side of the stage. And the singer, Jared Leto, the main man, took center stage for the entirety of the gig. And he kept prancing around like a doofus. Like, it's really hard to describe how he looked. He looked like a hobo Jesus going through a midlife crisis. And I'm not even exaggerating when I'm saying this, because he was wearing a colorful poncho with, I think, nothing underneath, but also sunglasses in a dark concert arena. So that looked really stupid. And then, in a lot of songs, like half of the songs, he wouldn't even sing parts of it. He would just let the crowd sing, because, let's face it, he's not a great live singer. However, what made the gig interesting and memorable in my opinion was, I went there alone, as I usually do. I prefer to go to gigs alone. But before the main gig started, like before 30 Seconds to Mars took stage, this random group of American girls just started talking to me. And they were like, "Oh, who are you here with? Where are your friends?" And I'm like, "Wait, no, I'm here alone, why?" And they were like, "Oh, that's sad." And I'm like, "No, it's really not, I don't mind it." But in the end, they kind of took me into their group anyway, which was fun. Like, I had a lot of fun with them. No, not in that way, don't get me wrong. They were just tourists, they would leave the next day. But we had a great time at the gig. And one of them even knew German, like my mother tongue. So that was kind of fun, talking in German to an American. I don't think that's that common, is it? But yeah, apart from hanging out with the girls, the gig was disappointing, really, because it wasn't even close to being sold out. Like, half of the arena was blacked out, and I believe part of the reason was the horrendous ticket price. I think, including the booking fees, I paid almost €70 for these tickets, which is insane when you think about it. Especially since the setlist only was like 15 songs, I think, no real encore, and after 1.5 hours, it was over. Like, I didn't feel I got my money's worth out of that gig. But anyways, I went there for nostalgia reasons, as I said, and I'm never gonna see them again, I think. Twice is enough. So then, a month later, or not even a month later, like 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, I saw Liam Gallagher, the brother of Noel, which I've seen twice this year. And let me tell you, it was a pretty bad experience. So the gig itself, the music, was pretty good. Like, he played, I think in total 6 of his own songs, and like 11 or 12 Oasis songs. Well, it's pretty obvious where he's making his money from, so yeah, that's that. But I made the mistake of standing in the first few rows, cause it was yet another open air gig. What am I saying, yet another? I think it was the first open air gig this year. Yeah, it really was. And because of that, I was surrounded by lots of people, because Liam Gallagher is a big deal. Lead singer of Oasis, one of the most famous bands of the last few years. Or last few decades, really. So yeah. But I don't mind being around lots of people at gigs. But what I do mind is being surrounded by all these fake tough 18-year-old drunk lads, you know? They were only there for the sake of drinking, I think. And when Liam started, I had a lot of elbows in my sides and my face, and that's not what I came there for. I came there to enjoy the music, for a bit of nostalgia too, but not to be in a constant mosh pit. But when I moved to the back a bit later, it was alright. Like, it got a lot better. Because when I moved back, I was kind of surrounded by older people who were there for the Oasis beginnings, I imagine. And it was alright. They enjoyed the gig properly, without any quote-unquote violence. I know it's not violence per se, but anyways, that's kind of the best way to describe it. However, what I did really enjoy was the support act. During the support act, the crowd wasn't as rowdy yet, and it was even some artists that I like, because it was Richard Ashcroft, former singer of The Verve. If you don't know the name The Verve, look up Bittersweet Symphony. I'm sure you've heard the song somewhere at some point of your life. And that was really cool. But yeah, after the gig was over, I was really tired, tuckered out, and I just wanted to go home. And so I jumped into the train, because the gig wasn't in the town I live in, it was a bit outside. And the train was packed, full of drunk, loud people in a party mood, because it was a Friday. And fair enough, fair play to them, they can be as loud as they want. But I just wanted to be in peace. Because it was quite late. I stayed up pretty late that day. So yeah, I just wanted to go home. And it was really hot in the train too, so that was not a good experience. And the worst part about it is, right before our final station where I had to get out, we stood still for 10 or 15 minutes, for no reason apparently. But yeah, during that time, people were in a good mood, singing the Oasis songs like Don't Look Back in Anger or Wonderwall. And I would have participated had I drunk more, whatever. But after just 2 beers and being tired, I couldn't get myself to join. But despite this delay and this bad experience, I even got lucky. Because later trains that night had even bigger delays. And that's because hundreds of people didn't feel like waiting for the next train to go. They just walked. But they didn't even follow the road. No. They walked across the tracks. Which is really stupid and dangerous if you ask me, but anyways. Yeah, so I can just imagine 100 people migrating from the concert venue 10, 15 kilometers back home. It's insane. And in one of the later trains, one claustrophobic person even smashed a train window, so they had to take an emergency stop. I don't know. People get crazy on these kind of gigs. But in the end, it was alright. It was nice to see Liam in a big atmosphere this time. Because I've already seen him once last year, but that was just kind of a small gig to help the Manchester victims. Because if you don't know, last year there was a terrorist attack in a Manchester concert hall, and Liam Gallagher did a few gigs to raise a bit of money for charity to help the victims, which was really nice. But yeah, even there the crowd was already kinda rowdy, but because it was a small venue, it wasn't as obvious. But Liam Gallagher aside, the next gig, and the second to last gig on my list, was the best one I've seen so far this year. And, oh, Focus Punch. That's kinda cool, if you have a team set up for it, which I don't. But yeah, 8th gig I've seen was Pearl Jam. And kinda similar to the first time I've seen Noel Gallagher, it was on holidays. And coincidental, because Yes, Mr. Rocketman, coughing does evolve into wheezing. Why do you tell me that? What is the point of this fact? What the hell is your point? But, that kind of caught me off guard and threw me off. So let's look at a picture. And I'm feeling good. That's also a song Ed Sheeran played, by the way. So where was I? Lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, Pearl Jam. So I saw them on holidays, and I only found out a few days before going on holidays that they would play. So I didn't expect to get a ticket, but I have to interrupt myself again. So this is what I wanted to mention earlier. He is one of the Rocket Brothers. So the Rocket Brothers are 4 trainers scattered around Silph Co. And unfortunately, they have no point or no connection whatsoever. It's just a bit of flavor text that they threw in. And I wish they expanded on that a bit more. Like, give them, for example, all 4 original trait evolutions. Or something like that. But no, they just threw in the fact that, oh, we're kind of related. And that's it. Whatever. That's the Rocket Brother number 1. And yeah, it's sad. Even the hack doesn't expand on them, I think. But yeah, the Rocket Brothers aside. Pearl Jam. So, I found out only a few days before going on holidays that they would play. So, I just checked online for tickets, which was a nightmare anyway, because the website was in Italian, and I don't speak Italian. But I eventually figured it out. And I didn't expect to get a ticket, because Pearl Jam are a really big band. But no, Rome still had tickets available. It was only a seated ticket, kind of to the side of the stage. But even still, Pearl Jam also are one of those bands where I thought I want to see them at least once in my life. So I did. But yeah, it was their first time playing in Rome since 22 years. So to compensate for that fact, they played basically the entirety of all the songs that they've ever recorded. Oh shit, Pursuit, no. Oh my god, no. Are you kidding me? Pursuit. Like, it actually uses Pursuit? It gets a freaking critical hit too? This didn't happen, did it? No. No, I refuse to believe that happened. I just lost one of my best fighters. Oh my god. Yeah, let's forget about Pearl Jam. Let's forget about concerts in general. I lost Azteca. My only psychic type I have left. No, I still have a Drowsy, but anyways. One of my strongest fighters. The one that carried me through the Koga battle. Against a random underleveled rocket dude? What the hell? Well, that kinda ruined my mood. So, I guess we're ending this episode early. Because I have to do some reshuffling of my team. I didn't expect to lose a single Pokémon in this area. What the hell? Thanks for avenging Azteca here, Hardhat. Man, this is crushing. This is a crushing loss. I'm at a loss for words here. Yeah, I really don't know what to say anymore. No, don't exit, come on. Not to the second floor, god damn it. Come on now, focus. And, okay, at least it's a loss that I couldn't really have prevented. Because, how was I supposed to know that this trainer would have a Murkrow? That the Murkrow would know Pursuit? And, on top of that, that it would critical. And even if I had stayed in, I don't know. Let's just accept that it happened. And release Azteca. Azteca, you were an unexpectedly great fighter. You saved my bacon against Koga. You were really a great teammate to have. You were great to have around. You were a reliable switch-in. But, ironically, a switch is what killed you. So, Azteca, it was nice having you around. Rest in peace. Bye-bye.